Welcome to part 2 of the Advanced Additive Scenes tutorial for Angry Bots. I'm going to just show you here another example of what the Advanced Additive Scenes will do for you. And I'm going to address an issue that used to be a problem in the previous versions of Advanced Additive Scenes. So this new version, 1.7, supports what's called cross-scene references. And I'm just going to continue creating subscenes here. This one's not going to cause an issue. This one's the dynamic one, so I save that out. And now this static one's going to cause an issue that's called a cross-scene reference. So what is a cross-scene reference? Well, Unity by default will not allow you to reference data across scenes. So data that lives in one scene, for instance, this main scene, this Angry Bots No Cubes, cannot reference data that lives in enemies or lives in sounds, etc., etc. And the reason for that is that by default, there's no way to drag an object from one scene. So let's say something that lives in static environment here, there's no way to drag that onto the main camera. However, using this plugin, that's quite possible now. Now that we are able to see all these objects, it's quite possible to drag an object from under enemies, for instance, onto the main camera, onto a field on the main camera. So for example, the main camera right now has a reflection effects script right here. It has reflection objects, and if I click on these objects and then figure out where those objects live, they live under the static game object. So once I turn this into a new scene, there's going to be a cross-scene reference. So the cross-scene reference is Angry Bots No Cubes up here, that's my main scene. Will now reference something in the static scene. So let me go ahead and do that. Now previously, this plugin would just warn you that you're doing such a thing that Unity doesn't like, and it would stop you from saving. However, in this new version of 1.7, we can see that once I do this, it's going to ask me to save. I'm going to save, and it's going to say there are cross-scene references, and I have to unlock the dynamic scene to save them properly. So I am going to unlock the dynamic scene. Now it's done here, and I'm just going to save the scene one more time. And so if I play the scene now, you're going to notice that there absolutely is no difference in functionality. So there's still reflections, the game still plays, I can still shoot these guys, the doors are still going to open, etc., etc. So what I want to show you now is what happens to that cross-scene reference. So in main camera, those reflective objects are now called cross-scene references. So cross-scene ref, and these are sort of just hidden implementation bookkeeping for how I've implemented this stuff. So anytime you see cross-scene reference, that just means that the data lives in another locked scene. So to see what they're actually referencing, I have to start unlocking these. And I know that this one particularly lives in static, so I unlock static, and there I go. I can click on these and I can see what they're actually referencing. And if I do it during gameplay, of course, you're going to see what they're referencing as well. If I lock this again, I'm going to save it and lock it. And these are going to turn right back into cross-scene references. So this new version of the plugin kind of solves that all for you. Now the cool thing about this is I'm going to open up the static level. And so this is the static level. You can see that the doors are gone, the enemies are gone, because those all live in different scenes. I'm going to make changes to just this level. Something that we know is wrong here. So I'm moving those, they're now floating. I'm going to save this scene, and I'm going to load up my initial scene. So we're loading up the Angry Bots No Cubes thing right now, and it's loading in all of the subscenes. So it's going to load in the audio and the static level which we just changed. So now you can see again the enemies are there because if I click this, it's under the enemies subscene. And now those boxes are floating, of course, because they are under the environment static, which is in the static scene. My cross-scene references are still going to work. So even though I've changed that, cross-scene references are still going to work. So I'm going to be able to play this game, and we're still going to see reflections. The reflections are still there. This time those boxes are floating because I've made that change. Now, what I want to do is I want to fix up that scene again. So right now, you'll notice I can't actually change anything. Everything's uneditable because it's locked. So I unlock the static scene. I move these boxes back down again. And now when I hit save, file, save, it's going to ask me to unlock those again, which I'm going to do. And now it's saving the data into that static scene. You can see that static scene is no longer dirty. I'm going to lock it. It's okay to lose changes, it's already been saved. And now if I load up static scene again, you'll know it's loaded, all the doors are gone, and those objects are now back in their spot because I've changed data in the subscene and my plugin has taken care of saving it into the right spot for you. So again, this is how you can sort of break up your scenes to let multiple people work on different parts of the scene. We used it at the Global Game Jam in 2015, and it was a great time booster for us because we had 5 people working in the game at once, and we were all working on basically one scene. The new version of the plugin will basically solve any of the cross-scene issues you used to run into in older versions of the plugin and kind of solves an issue that Unity itself doesn't support natively. So it's pretty cool. You can pick it up on the asset store right now. The new version 1.7, as of me recording this tutorial, is not available yet, but will be available soon. So it's something that you can sort of start looking at, and it's going to be available by the time you view this anyway. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, you can find me on the forums or on Twitter at CodingJar. Thanks. Bye.